everybody, Jeff from Corrugated Cavalier here with a video on my first short form of my creation entitled Two Cowardly Villains, to evoke some of Fiore's sometimes very colorful language, and also to evocative of the fact that it is a two-attacker scenario that I had in mind. This is a video where I will be explaining the techniques and kind of my thought process behind the sequence of movements, so if you want to see just the form itself, here's a link to that. But for the rest of us, we'll dive in. So I put this together because I just wanted a creative way to kind of mash together some of the things that I've been working on in my solo training. So this is a thought to help others, perhaps with their solo training, because I know that's what a lot of us are doing. So I've really been focusing on footwork. I've been doing a little bit of sword in one hand, and I have been doing this drill called Farfalla di Ferro by Guy Windsor as well. There's a link below to that. As well as the combo that I did a video on earlier as well, which is right here. So for the footwork stuff, there's a lot of great stuff from Federico Malaguti, Guy Windsor as well, and the Exiles recently put one on the importance of an acrese. They pronounce it acris. I'm not really a stickler on pronunciation myself, but that's a really good video as well. The Farfalla di Ferro, as I said, is a Guy Windsor cutting drill that I really like, so I worked it into this form, and I'll show you where. And Federico Malaguti is just a great source for a lot of beginner Fiore stuff, especially, and other stuff as well. All right, so the first part of this video, we're going to go through each leg of the form, and then I will do two different views of each, and fast and slow as well, and then I will do the form in its entirety with a couple of different views and fast and slow as well. All right, let's get to it.
All right, so here we have a salute. I rethought that for a second. Getting into our spada una mano and drawing the sword to begin the encounter. A little acrese, fendente, and this is the Farfalla di Ferro. I made the movements a little bit smaller than Guy shows in his video, except for that. That's kind of my own addition. It's a tutta volta with a big, wide parry. I don't think that big movements are inherently bad, so in this case, there's an attacker coming from behind me, and I don't know what it is, so I gotta cover a lot of ground. So here it is on the other side, slowly. Binding and winding actions is kind of what that's supposed to simulate, that Farfalla di Ferro. And then we're in sword in one hand on the other side. Here it is a little bit faster on this side. Fendente, bind and wind, strike, parry. Good. Okay. So now here's the second leg of the form. So we do this sword in one hand parry again, but this time we have the thrust and an arm push with the left hand, step through, and that's the combo that I've been working on with the hanging parry and the thrust. And then we turn back around to the other attacker. Here it is a little bit faster. And that combo uses the passa al traverso, then we volta stabile, cover, stab, volta stabile, and descrese into dente di zingaro. So here it is on the other side, parry, passare, thrust, cover with passa al traverso or verso fendente, sword in one hand posture, volta stabile, passare, legadura menzana, lock with the left hand into a stab. So you're locking their sword hand with your left hand. Happens in sword in one hand and dagger and grappling. And once again, volta stabile with the sword in one hand cover, legadura menzana, stab, volta stabile, descrese. And here's the final leg. So that is porta di ferro mezzana right there, and then that's a little feint thrust into the combo again with the hanging parry. But this time it starts off with a passare on the thrust and uses the passa al traverso on the hanging parry rather than on the thrust. So porta di ferro mezzana, step, and verso fendente. Big full cut because I already wounded that guy. And here's the form slowly from this side in its entirety. So draw, parry with the accrese, fendente, farfalla di ferro, bind and wind, cut, something's coming from behind, tutta volta, sword in one hand again, this time a thrust and an arm push, passa al traverso, hanging parry, verso fendente, sword in one hand, volta stabile, cover, ligadura mezzana, thrust, volta stabile, discrese, dente di zingaro, porta di ferro mezzana, feint, thrust with passare, passa al traverso, hanging parry, and reverso fendente. Here it is a little faster. So, first attacker, ha, take that, sword in one hand, bind, wind, cut, something from behind, sword in one hand, that didn't work, so sword in one hand, ligadura mezzana, stab, he's done, back up, next guy, feint, step through, reverso fendente. Here it is on the other side a little slower. So draw, parry with the accrese, fendente, farfalla di ferro, big arcing parry, sword in one hand on this side, parry, passare with a thrust and an arm push, step through, passa al traverso, verso fendente, sword in one hand again, passare, ligadura mezzana, thrust, volta stabile, discrese, porta di ferro mezzana, feint, thrust with a passare, hanging parry, and reverso fendente. Here it is a little bit faster from this side. Farfalla di ferro, next attacker, parry, thrust, step through, reverso fendente, sword in one hand again, lock, stab, and feint, boom, 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 and then just in case I need to throw the sword at somebody running away.
Alright, thank you guys for coming by the channel as always. I hope that you enjoyed that, maybe learned something, or even if it just gave you an idea of something to do a little bit more creatively with your solo practice. If you need ideas, maybe you don't, that's cool. Yeah, it's not perfect, but as they say, whoever they is, perfect is the enemy of good, especially in the creative endeavors, and I tend to agree with that. So I wanted to present this and not spend, you know, days and days and days and days getting every single detail down. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We're getting right to 50 subscribers. Let's push right through that and keep on going. Please hit like, subscribe if you haven't, share this with people who you think might find it interesting, and let's keep growing this community, all right? Thanks for coming by again. Be good to each other, and see you next time.